stop with the video if you want to step in front of us. The video, so feel free.
Yeah, let's set like, fill out kind of sort of like around like a half circle.
Somebody else
right, and then people can step up in the middle.
People can step up. I think everybody's ready at this point. The People's Power Assembly, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and our friends and allies are standing together on this 4th of July to dedicate this day to the unfinished revolution, eloquently captured in the slogan, Black Lives Matter. Chattel slavery as we know it has been abolished in this country, but that page in history has not been fully and completely turned. The fight to end racist oppression continues, whether it's police terror, the new Jim Crow, the failure to pay reparations to Black America, the recent horrific massacre of 9 people in Charleston, South Carolina, or the burning of Black churches. Nothing could illustrate this more clearly than the many vestiges of slavery that continue today, from Confederate flags to statues and monuments glorifying Confederate generals. We ask, where are the statues honoring Harriet Tubman and the many other Tubmans? In Germany, all such monuments, including the Nazi swastika and flags, had been removed and are banned. But even in cities such as Baltimore, which is close to 70% Black, 9 monuments to Confederate generals and soldiers abound. We dedicate today to calling for an end to the war on Black America. Before we set this Confederate flag on fire, we will be reading Maryland's heroic son, Frederick Douglass's famous speech, "What to the American slave is your 4th of July?"
What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him, more than all other days of the year, the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim. To him, your celebration is a sham, your boasted liberty, an unholy license, your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciations of tyrants, branch-running impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy. A thin veil to cover up crimes which disgrace a nation of savages.
There is not a nation on the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of the United States at this very hour. Go where you may, search where you will, roam through all the monarchies and despotisms of the old world, travel through South America, search out every abuse, and when you have found the last, lay your facts by the side of the everyday practices of this nation, and you will say with me that for revolting barbarity and shameless hypocrisy, America reigns without rival.
Behold the practical operation of this internal slave trade, the American slave trade, sustained by American politics and American religion. Fellow citizens, this murderous traffic is today in active operation in this boasted republic. I see the bleeding footsteps on the way to the slave markets where the victims are to be sold like horses, sheep, and swine. My soul sickens at the sight, but a still more inhuman, disgraceful, and scandalous state of things remains to be presented. By an act of the American Congress, slavery has been nationalized in its most horrible and revolting form. The fugitive slave law makes mercy to them of crime and bribes the judge who tries them.
An American judge gets $10 for every victim he consigns to slavery, and $5 when he fails to do so. Let this damning fact be perpetually told, that in tyrant-killing, king-hating, people-loving, democratic, Christian America, the seats of justice are filled with judges who hold their offices under an open and palpable bribe. I take this law to be one of the grossest infringements of Christian liberty, and if the churches and ministry of our country were not stupidly blind or most wickedly indifferent, they too would so regard it. They are utterly silent in respect to a law which robs religion of its chief significance and makes it utterly worthless to a world lying in wickedness. Allow me to say, in conclusion, I do not despair of this country. There are forces in operation which must inevitably work the downfall of slavery. The arm of the Lord is not shortened, and the doom of slavery is certain. I, therefore, leave off where I began, with hope.
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Yes.
Sherelle and David are going to come forward.
Oh, sure, no problem.
David, do you want to stick it on the stick?
Yeah, I was thinking we should do that.
Yeah, put it on the
Good.
so when it starts to burn it.
Fortunately, that's put it in the grill. Put a rock on top of it. Put the corner of it on the grill. Put a rock on top.
Just so that.
Here we go. There it goes.
Okay, hold on.
Looks like it's just getting a little bit of it.
Fortunately. Pour some more on top of that. Put it in the it's so hot, it will mix it all up. Put a rock right on top of the grill. Put it there you go. Burn, baby, burn. Burn. Burn that.
Burn it down!
Burn that.
Shut it down!
Burn that. Yeah.
Don't want to burn, but it'll burn.
Raise more later. Y'all got it. That's one song on tape. Y'all got it. That's it.
Yeah.
Woo!
Bring out the hot dogs.
Finish the task.
This concludes the formal part of our press conference and protest today. Afterwards, the People's Power Assembly is going to have a real people's barbecue. We're going to have our own hot dogs and our own stuff to eat. But the press is more than welcome to interview people and to talk to people individually.
No more root of it being like no. That's
Every piece. Sharon said she didn't want to get out of a bunch of fights with people and stuff. You know. We're here today they were driving around out there last night and this morning looking for their flags on the back of their trucks.
Slavery, yeah. It's a symbol of racism and it's a symbol of oppression. And we say that it's a symbol really because the undergirding issues of those things are very much alive and prevalent in our society today. When we look at prisons being built, housed, warehoused, predominantly African American people, when we look at joblessness in our society, and we look at the socioeconomic issues like gentrification that take place every day in our society, we know that what the Confederate flag represents is still very much alive and well. And so as we burn this flag, we not only burn the flag, but we also burn the things that that flag stands for.
That's right.
And we think that on the 4th of July, there is no more patriotic act than to burn a flag that symbolizes racism, oppression, and degradation for a city that is 70% African American. That is the patriotic thing to do on the 4th of July. Most assured, I've actually traveled to southern states. I received the Freedom Flame Award and the key to the city of Selma, in Selma, Alabama, which was the home and the basin of the American Civil Rights Movement. And I will contend to you today that in some parts of the world, deep south, where racism is still very much alive and well, and more overtly open than it is here in the more northern part of the South, people are fighting against what that Confederate flag represents as well. Again, it is much more than just a flag. It is a symbol. And when I think of the Confederate flag, I think about money that I have in my pocket right now. There are dead people on bills who own slaves in my pocket right now. That is the type of thing that our nation has to overcome if we truly seek to become a nation that is inclusive to all people. Even when we look at these statues here in the city of Baltimore, we have statues that honor slaveholders. And as a free African-American man in a city that during that time had the largest free population of free blacks in the country, it is devastating that we have statues that give celebration that are really monuments to slaveholders in this country. That is what we are seeing. We are seeing people honoring folk that in Germany would not be honored. To honor Robert E. Lee is to honor Adolf Hitler or Joseph Stalin. So we should not be about the business of erecting statues to people who do not stand for the type of things that we allege this country stands for. We want to see statues to Frederick Douglass erected, who was a Marylander. We want to see statues to Harriet Tubman erected, who was a Marylander. People who held up the bloodstained banner for justice and for the principles that we allege this country stands for. So we are right to burn this symbol of hate. It is like a swastika. It is a symbol that demoralizes and that undermines an entire grouping of people, not for anything that we did, but because of the color of our skin.
Well, that's plastic. That's percentage.
Yeah. Now we're going to put a lot of
We might want to try to burn it all off.
To the people who think that the Confederate flag represents them, and if they think that the Confederate flag represents what this country represents, I, like Paul Robeson, represent my membership to this country in the same way. Because I don't want to be a part of the country, a country that the Confederate flag flies over. That's why that young lady down in South Carolina did a heroic act. And overnight she became an international human rights leader by taking that flag off that pole at the South Carolina State Capitol.